Okay, hi guys. Welcome back to GAC. Fuck. I'm already fucking up 2 seconds in. Welcome back to Gossip Committee. Kind of freaking out a little bit. Um, I am really sad to say that Madison is not with us today. She has decided that the podcast is just not a good fit for her. And I have lost another friend. Shocker. Yeah, I'm totally fucking kidding. She has not quit. I don't want to laugh because it's sad. Like her daughter's sick and puking and just running a fever and not feeling good. She didn't go to school today. So Madison is not here. I hope I scared you guys a little bit. That was like my little prank. I did a prank on you guys. Okay, but still low key, high key, maybe freaking out that Madison isn't here because you know what that means? That means I have to do a podcast all by myself. I have to be a big girl today and figure out how to talk to you guys without having Madison to bounce off of. Like, Madison is literally the best co-host I could ever ask for. Moment of appreciation for Madison because I could talk to her for hours and she always has something to say and she keeps the energy up and she just like gets me through this. It's weird. Like I feel more chill, more comfortable when Madison is here than when I'm just with myself, even though like I'm cool with myself. It's just the camera. It's just talking and not having anybody to talk to. So, are we gonna get through this today or is it gonna be a complete and total shit show? I guess we'll find out. But I'm gonna try and keep it fun and okay, sorry. I say I'm gonna keep it fun, but like how can I sit here and like laugh by myself about things that I say? That would be weird. So I am actually going to talk about like some serious things that have been on my mind that I want to talk about. But I want to keep it like, flowy, if that makes sense. So, oh my goodness, you guys. Okay. So what's happened in the last week? I think there's a bug going around and that's probably why Madison's daughter is sick. Milo has had diarrhea for the past week and it's been great. It's been a pleasure dealing with 3 blowouts a day that ruin clothes. Has been just such an ecstatic part of life. No, obviously I'm being sarcastic. It's been a sucky week for my kids. They both had ear infections and yeah, we're getting through that. I think Milo is starting to feel a little bit better. Callie, he was fine after like the second day with the ear infection. So yeah, the wedding stuff. Have I planned anything since the last week or the last 2 weeks that I brought this up? No, I haven't. I think I'm avoiding it. Is that a problem? Yeah, kind of, because that's how things don't get done. And then you procrastinate and you save it to last minute. And then it becomes a billion times more stressful than it already was to begin with. So, this is what wedding planners are for and like maid of honors. But since I'm just doing like the wedding reception kind of thing, it's not like the traditional way of like doing things. So my mom's so busy, like I can't lean on her really for like so much help. Anyways, I don't even want to get into it because we're just going to avoid that today. But how are you guys? I hope you guys are doing well. I want to hear from y'all more. I want to talk to you guys more on social media. I want to see you in the comments on YouTube. I want more like listener emails so I can give you my like opinion, advice, input. Not that I'm always going to give you the best advice, but it's going to be genuine. And you know what? It's also crazy to think that like Madison is going to listen to this and she's going to actually get to be a listener without having would it be called like a biased opinion because she's on it. So I'm kind of scared. Like, oh my gosh, Madison, are you there? Hi, are you listening? Am I doing good? Like, she's not even here and I'm asking her for reassurance. No, I love her. She's such a good friend and I'm so glad I found her. But really what I want to talk about today, guys, it's actually a sad story. And I think I'm really going to use this more as a venting session. I've had this on my mind a lot lately. And what that leads me into is this is a story about how my biggest success in life ever turned into my biggest failure and literally haunts me to this day. And you know what? I like to start this story like this. Once upon a time, I bought a big ass house. And I'm laughing at myself. The reason why is because my mom, she is an inspiration. Like, she's so successful. She does well. She is an amazing real estate agent. She's also a badass on social media as well. On TikTok, she has over like 800,000 followers. And one of her viral videos is once upon a time I bought, oh no. It's once upon a time I sold a big ass house. And that is like one of her most famous videos. So I thought I could like change it up a little bit and say, once upon a time I bought a big ass house. So leading into that story, I have lived the American dream before, and it turned into a nightmare, my biggest nightmare. And like I said, my biggest failure. And I want to talk about like the journey with that and the process of how that all happened. I was before I had kids, I was working in real estate on my mom's team, and that was very exciting. It felt good. It felt, I just felt so proud of myself, so accomplished. I felt like a boss ass bitch. And if you guys have listened to the podcast before, you know that I am like, I want to be a boss. I want to be a boss ass bitch. Okay. Like, point blank period. And I was one. I really was. So yeah, my mom has a real estate team and I was on that team. And I think my mom's dream has always been for me to like be her little, sidekick. And when she's ready to retire, I take over the business. And honestly, like, as dreamy as that sounds, I don't know if that is going to be the end goal. And I don't know if that is my end goal. I'm kind of still figuring it out. But there was a time when I was on the team and I was pursuing that. And my mom is a great real estate agent, so she brings in a lot of business. I had a lot of clients. And I worked really hard. I was in the office every single day. I was showing houses on Saturdays. I was holding open houses every single Sunday. And I was making a shit ton of money. And Lucas was proud of me. His parents were proud of me. Like, I've had that feeling before of people being proud of me. And with that job, I was able to get approved to buy a $300,000 house. I got approved for $300,000 at the time. This was like 4 years ago. It was actually like 5 years ago because we moved in I want to say August of 2018, and I had Callie in 2019. So, yeah, I got approved to buy a house. Lucas was, doing flooring. He doing really great with that. I was doing really great with my business. Like, I had already bought my first Mercedes, like brand new Mercedes, like insane. Like, is this real life? Like, that's what it felt like. I was literally living a dream. And so we bought a house. We bought at the top of our price range. We actually paid $290,000 when I look back, and if you've seen the house, you'd be like, oh my gosh, that was only $290, because now things are just like completely and totally outrageously priced. But that's where the market is. So back then it was at a good place, and my interest rate was like in the threes or like low fours. And like I said, it was a dream. Everything was great. We were living the life. We were having parties. We were hosting Friendsgivings. We were just literally living, going out, like whatever. Like we were doing it all. And then work started to get like a little bit slower, and things started to get a little bit more stressful. And Lucas actually took a break from like his full-time job of installing floors, and tried to kind of pursue like something with my mom, like as a contractor. And that ended up not being financially stable for us. And it was hard. And we weren't fully like, we weren't in that mind. We hadn't reached that level of maturity yet where like you look at something and you realize like, oh, this is a great opportunity for me. We just weren't there yet. We were, 25 and 27. And so, I was the only one making money at that time. And then it started getting slower in real estate for me. Like things weren't coming in as like often. So, bills were stacking up, and I was just figuring it out. We were pretty much living paycheck to paycheck at that point. And then my mom and I were just having our struggles, and like what like mom and daughters do. And on top of that, like we just kind of always had a toxic relationship. And when you're working together, it just brings that out even more. So she said some things in the spur of a moment in a team meeting, and I didn't know how to regulate my emotions at that time at all. So I exploded. I literally got up from the table. I told her off and left the team meeting, went to the office, grabbed all of my stuff, and I quit. I literally quit. And I owned this big house, had a mortgage. Like your life doesn't fall apart and then your mortgage, like people are like, oh yeah, no worries. Let us know when you're back on track. Like, no, like you still have to pay the bills. There's still maintenance to be done. Like life is still happening, So, Lucas was back into doing flooring, installing, and I was jobless. And I was like, you know what? We'll figure it out. At that time, like I wasn't super, I've always been a Christian, but like I wasn't super close in my relationship with God, like how I am now. So like I didn't think like in my head, like, oh, I'm going to lean on God. I'm going to pray about it. I was just like, you know what? We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Like whatever. I'm not going to be in that toxic environment. I'm not going to do this. Like I wasn't thinking logically. I really wasn't. So, Lucas was bringing in income, but it just wasn't enough to pay all of our bills, and things started slipping. And like his parents would ask like, are you late on any bills? And I would be like, oh, like we're late on this one. And I would just like downplay it a lot of the time. I would downplay our struggles, and because I was humiliated, I felt like, no, like I'm going to figure this out. Like we're going to get through it. Like this is going to turn around. And also fast forward, I don't know when I quit, but like in the time frame, I don't know when I quit compared to like when I had Callie, but I got pregnant and had Callie in the middle of like Lucas working, and me, obviously I had quit. So yeah, we went for a long time with living life just on Lucas's income. And then we started getting behind on a lot of things, and it just kept building up after Callie was born. That's when it like really started to build up. And I think it was because like my focus was just elsewhere. And you would think, and this is something I beat myself up about, guys. It's like, you would think like, I have a baby. I'm staring at this baby. I want to give this baby the world. But like, I can't seem to put my thinking cap on and figure out how to fix this problem I'm in. All I can think right now is like, breastfeed the baby, take care of the baby, change the baby. Like, it was just everything baby. And it wasn't like, how can I make sure that my life remains stable? Like, that's not where my head went. And I hate to say that, but like, that's just the truth. So anyways, we started to get behind on things, and I would say like, yeah, we need like some money to Lucas's parents, like when they would ask, but like, I wasn't telling them the full truth. And that really fucked me over and my family over. And we got so behind that like the mortgage people were like, okay, you can apply for I don't even remember what it was called, but like a modification or something, where you can like show proof that you went through like a hard time, and we can like try and lower your mortgage. And so like I spent like a few months going through that. And then in the meantime, I was like, okay, we need to figure something else out. Like, we can't live here. We need to like rent it out. So in the middle, so I like, knowing that I'm like applying for this thing to not lose my house, I rent it out to a family. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I was alone in this whole thing. Like, I wasn't being fully transparent with Lucas. I wasn't asking anybody for help. And I just wasn't putting everything out on the table and saying, this is where we are, this is what I need, and this is what needs to happen. And like, when you're in times like that, like, you cannot just sit there and figure it out yourself. And like, you can try, but if it's not working, like, you need to think of different solutions to like, to get through that. So I rent out to this family, and in the middle, like a couple months go by of them like living there, renting, we move into a friend's basement. I mean, like with our 6-month-old, of course I felt like I'm the biggest failure in the entire world. Like, I literally had bought my first home, had this beautiful, amazing home, and now I'm living in a friend's basement with my family. Like, what is life? Like, what happened? Like, where did I go wrong? And in the middle of like thinking all of that, I'm still making bad decisions. Like, I finally get news that I didn't get accepted for the modification. So like, they're not going to change my thing. Now I've gotten denied. So like, now you're about to go into foreclosure. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm about to foreclose. I'm about to lose a home. Like, I put money into this. Like, what do I do? So that's when I decided to make the call and ask for help. And that was when I called my mom and I said, I need to sell my house. And I don't even want to get into the details about like how I had to be upfront and honest with the family that I had rented the home out to, and tell them like, oh, by the way, like, I have to sell my house. I can't rent it out to you anymore. And they had to like get their stuff together and move out. Heartbreaking. Like, not easy. Like, had children. Like, they trusted me, and I completely and totally fucked them over, and I fucked myself over. And my mom put my house on the market, and I knew she'd be able to sell it in a second. We had to sell it for less than what it was worth, because it needed to be like a quick sale. And also like the stairs weren't done. Like, some things were like falling apart. Like we didn't have money to maintain the house. So like, anyways, we ended up selling that house for $315. And by the end of it, once we got to the closing table, we got a check, and we got a check for $200. After living in that house for 2 years, paying $1,900 a month for 2 years, and selling it, we got a check for $200 and lived in our friend's basement, and life went on. And I tried not to like completely have a mental breakdown and depressive episode, but like, how can you not, you know? I think I held myself up pretty well, to be honest. And like, I think I just put it to the back of my head, and I was like, it is what it is. But now Callie recently started soccer. We have to pass by our old neighborhood every time we take Callie to soccer practice now. And I can't get this off of my mind. And I just feel like I totally failed. And like, what I had back then, it almost feels like I can never have anything like that ever again. It feels like so far from me, like unable to grasp. And it hurts so bad. And now that I have like a much stronger relationship with God, like I know He 100%, like it happened for a reason. It did. And like, as cliche as that sounds, like it really did. Like I will never make that same mistake again. I will never make that same mistake again. I will guide my children and teach them what not to do and what to do in the case of buying a home. Like I said, I bought at the max of like what I was approved for. Like I was approved for 300. I bought at 290. Like I would never advise that. It's just, you need to have money saved. I didn't have any money saved. I was just assuming that like, oh, I'm going to do great in real estate and I'm going to be able to pay for everything. And Lucas isn't going to get slow at work. Like he's going to be fine. Like I just made all these assumptions. So don't buy at the top of your price range when you get approved. Don't make assumptions about how much money you're going to make, because you never know what's going to happen. Ask for help. If you've tried doing it yourself and it's not working, ask for help. Like, yes, it might not be a good feeling. Yes, it might be humiliating. Yes, in the moment you might feel like you have failed, but like you're going to feel 10,000 times better if somebody can help you and you don't actually lose a much bigger opportunity. You know what I lost? Those people moved into the house that bought our house, and they sold it not too long ago. I want to say last year. They sold that house. Dude, it breaks my heart to say this. They sold my house for $450,000, and I purchased it for $290. And like, if I would have asked for help and I would have stayed in that house for 2 more years, I could have built the foundation of my life and like started generational wealth. And like, the feeling I get when I think about that, it's indescribable. It's so sad. And like, I have been talking to God about it, and I'm like, please let me see like the good in that situation. Like, and I do, like I learned a lesson and I can teach my kids to act differently. But like right now I'm struggling thinking like, will I ever have that opportunity again? And I know I will. But like, I know I will. But like, I don't know when it's coming. Like the future is unknown. Like I don't have money for, I mean, Lucas almost just died 7 months ago. Like, you know, like right now we're figuring out like his job and how he's going to make a consistent income and what I need to do to make a consistent income. And it's scary. Like everything's scary. And, I have faith. I do have faith. Okay. Don't know if you guys heard that, but I have faith in God that everything, like he has something bigger and better waiting for me. I do truly believe that. It's just the unknown that's like, or when it's coming, or like what I'm going to need to do to get there. You know, like I have a 1-year-old I'm taking care of, and like I can't just go work real estate with my mom again right now and be working full time and like helping clients like from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 p.m. And then it's just a lot. So yeah, that's been on my mind. And I wanted to share that with you guys because I think it's relatable. I think a lot of people go through it. And it's something that I've never shared online before. And it was literally my biggest success and failure all in one. And it's so hard to think about, but it's real life. And I hope you learned something from this conversation. And yeah, just, I guess, pray for me, send me good vibes. And, I'm just hoping like I have something better in store because, yeah, what I was living back then feels like a dream now. But it's okay because now I have Callie and I have Milo, and obviously I have Lucas. Didn't know I was going to have him. And I am happy. Like I am happy, even though I sit here and I like get emotional about it. It's a sad thing. It's a sad story, but I've remained happy and like life keeps going. So that was my sad story. Let's talk about some like more fun stuff, right? Okay. Okay, guys. That was deep, and I'm glad I got that off my chest. I want people to know about that and learn from me and try not to make the same mistakes because holy shit, it doesn't feel good. Now I want to talk about breakups because I have been through some breakups, and breakups are hard and obviously relatable. People break up every day, and navigating what to do when going through a breakup. Obviously, this is not like a self-growth podcast. This is not an advice channel. This is a girl talk. Like, let's talk about the real shit on the topic. So yeah, I'm not here to get you through a breakup, but I can at least say like, yo, you're not alone. Like I've been through it and it's not easy. And if you're thinking about breaking up with somebody, or you just got broken up with and you're struggling, like I've been there. And oh my God, like breakups feel like the end of the world. They literally feel like you just lost your best friend. You lost a nice little hookup, and seeing that person live life without you fucking sucks. I remember, Lucas and I have been together for over 12 years. It'll be 13 years in May. And we obviously, I mean, we went through our ups and downs. Like we were kids when we first started dating. So when we had our first breakup, oh my gosh, I lost 13 pounds. I felt like I couldn't eat. I had no appetite. Like that's just what happens when you have all these feelings. Well, I mean, you either like can't eat or you just eat too much. So you either gain a lot of weight or lose a lot of weight. I would say the best thing to do when going through a breakup is obviously to just start working out, because you need to put like that sadness somewhere. You need to put that emotion into something. So working out is the best thing because first of all, you're going to get in shape. You're going to look good. It's called a revenge body for a reason. Yeah, put that energy into working out. And that is what I did. Like I lost 13 pounds because I wasn't eating, but then I was working out. So I was like, okay, I'm looking good. Obviously, if you're normal or maybe if you're not, you still are in communication with your ex like I was. We were obviously still talking. It's hard to like make that clean break from somebody unless you had like started talking to somebody towards the end of the relationship because you just were not vibing anymore, and then you completely move on. I feel like girls, it's so much harder to like move on by talking to other guys because we're so emotional. Like we have that emotional attachment to our ex. And it's so hard to date other guys. I think I'm speaking for most women, not all women, of course, but it's so hard to like entertain other guys. Like, why is it that when you break up with your ex and it wasn't something that you really wanted to do, but you just felt like you had to, or they broke up with you, every single guy you inquire after that gives you the ick straight away. They don't even have to do anything. They can just literally breathe too hard and like ick. I don't know what it is. It's like you can't stop comparing, or like you're just not clear-minded. Like you can't give guys the time of day, and it sucks because guys are not emotional. Like, or they think with a different part of their brain. Like I don't even know scientifically what it is, but like even if they're sad about a breakup, they can go and like hook up with girls like so easily. And that's like fun. And that gets their mind off of the breakup. With us, like we hook up with a guy and all we're doing is like, ugh, you're annoying. Ugh, you do this. Ugh, you don't do this like my ex. Like, ugh, my ex knew how to eat me out and you don't. Like, this is fucking shitty. A guy, they just deal with breakups better. And like also, when you break up, like your first instinct is to like, okay, let's go out with the girls or let's go out with the guys. You go out with the girls and you're like crying in the club in the corner, missing your ex. Your ex is literally having the time of his fucking life, or it looks that way always. Like, who knows? Like, are they really having the time of their life, or are they just putting that on social media to make us sad? Because that's what we're doing. We're 100% pretending like we're having the time of our life. But in all reality, we are getting in our car at the end of the night and crying all the way home. Like I remember a time when Lucas and I broke up and I went to go hang out with this guy because obviously I was trying to not think about Lucas. And I went to go hang out with this guy and he was like on Xanax or something. Like something is just not cute. Okay. Like he was on Xanax and he was hot. He was super hot. Don't get me wrong. And he was a good time, but I got in the car after hanging out with him and I literally turned on Climax by Usher, which is a great song. Check it out if you haven't heard it. And I bawled all the way home. And I was like saying out loud to myself, like, I miss my healthy athlete boyfriend. Like he doesn't do drugs. He plays soccer. Like what the fuck? I'm hanging out with a druggie. Like I was so just devastated. And I just like couldn't get Lucas off my mind. So obviously the communication, like we would block each other, but like then we would still talk. And then of course the breakup sex. Why is it that breakup sex is so good? You literally feel like you're in a movie and you're doing something wrong, and because you're having sex with your ex, like that's wrong. But like it doesn't feel the same as when you were in the relationship pissed off and like and they're like 10 times hotter. Like how do you break up and they get 10 times hotter? How do you see them out somewhere and you're like, how are you the hottest person I've ever seen in my life? Like how does that happen? Like we were just together and you were a 4 and now you're off the charts and I want to fuck you. Point blank period. We did have a lot of breakup sex. Okay. And like I said, I lost weight. I was working out. I felt hot. Like the rhythm, the vibe, the passion, like it was all there. And I could feel it from his side too. And then of course, I'm sure like we left that interaction, me getting in my car crying and him being like, cool, I just got laid. Dope. So yeah, breakups, they suck. I think the best advice I have when going through a breakup is probably block your ex. Easier said than done. Don't stalk him and go to the same places that he's going. Again, easier said than done. Did I do it? Absolutely. Did I show up to opera because I knew he was going to opera? Yeah. Did I show up to La Rumba because, yeah, I sure did. With all my girls looking hot as fuck, acting like I was just loving and living the single life. But I was looking at his social media every 2 seconds and stalking his Facebook, looking to see who he followed. I was like creating friendships with people that were friends with the girls that he was messaging, and they would get the tea for me. That's what I was doing. I was being a creep. I also, this is bad, I was FaceTiming his brother. Me and his brother were super close, and they shared a room at the time. Embarrassing, but they did. Life struggles. And I FaceTimed his brother. His brother would like have his headphones in, so Lucas couldn't hear that I was on FaceTime with him. And Lucas would be on the phone with a girl, and I would be listening to their whole entire conversation. And I'd be like, tell him that she's ugly. Tell him that the girl that he's talking to right now is so fucking ugly. And he would like do it, and he'd be like, no, but she has a big ass. And I'd be like, this is my life, and this is what I'm doing, and this is embarrassing. And then he would go to Brazil, and we would FaceTime every single night, and he was literally living his life in Brazil. Like, that is just sad and pathetic. Don't do that. Like, I mean, granted, I was throwing house parties and playing naked strip flip. What the fuck? Can you speak? I was playing strip flip cup and having house parties. So like, I was having fun too, but like obviously still devastated. Yeah, no guys, breakups suck. Like, I don't know. Like, how do you not stalk your ex? I don't know. I think you just focus on yourself. You focus on being a badass bitch, like working out, hanging out with your girlfriends. Honestly, like, don't think about when you're meeting up with other guys. Like, I think this even the case for people that aren't going through a breakup, but like people that are on Hinge or Tinder, like, don't look at it as like, oh, like, I'm going to go on a date with this guy. Like, and if we don't click or there isn't chemistry, like, it's the end of the world. Like, no, I think we should just like be interested in like meeting people and seeing like how their brains work as like a different human with a different life. Like, see what they're about, see what their job is, see how they handle conflict, like ask them questions, like get deep with people. Like, I think we focus so much on like, oh my God, I have to get over my ex, or oh my God, this date has to go perfect. Like, if there isn't like the chemistry to like start dating this person, maybe there's like the chemistry to like have a friendship with this person, or just like enjoy the time that you're spending instead of like, it really is the case of like looking at the glass half full instead of half empty. Like, instead of seeing it as a total waste of time, see it as like an opportunity of meeting a new person and seeing how this person like works, how their brain works. Sorry, I find the brain super fascinating. So the thought of like ever being single again, which will never happen. But the thought, when it comes across my mind, like if I was ever single again and I had to like go on dates with people, I'm like, I want to go on dates just to like get to know people. Like, I want to ask people questions and like, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know where this conversation about breakups went, but they're not easy, but you're not alone. I mean, we've all gone through a breakup. I can say that like, if the relationship was absolutely miserable, if you just give it time does heal everything. Like, when I was a freaking freshman, 14, 15 years old, and I was dating, this guy in high school, we dated for like over a year. And when that breakup happened, I thought it was the end of the world. Like, I was going to marry this guy. Like, there's no way in hell I could ever get over him. Like, now I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, obviously I got over that. And like, I moved on. And it's just like, I thought our breakup was the end of my life, but like time went by, I met new people, and like life went on. And now I'm like, I was in a relationship with that guy. That's pretty scary. So yeah, just like, if you're not in a good relationship, break up. And yeah, breakups are hard and tough because you're changing, you're changing your life, your story. Like things are different. You're not going to be going the same route in the car every day anymore. You're not going to have the same routine of getting to that person's apartment or them coming over to your apartment and watching a movie. And like that part sucks because like you'll be alone, but like get to know yourself and like spend some time with yourself and make time for your friendships. And just know that like if you take time to focus on yourself and meet new people and keep doing life and being the best version, like you will get over it. You know what I've realized with having a podcast? I've realized that I don't know how to end the conversation. And I do that a lot too. Like when I go out with a girlfriend, like I went out with a girlfriend last night, and it's like, I could just keep talking and being like, okay, all right, well, I'm going to start walking away now. Like, because I don't know how to end the conversation. Like, how do you end a conversation? I need advice on that. Hold on. Lucas is texting me because he knows I'm in here by myself shooting a podcast. He said, Milo is awake. Okay. Well, time to be a dad. But okay, there is something I wanted to talk about. And I know Madison is going to be like, oh my gosh, you're bringing up God again. No. She's not going to be like that. She's super down. But like, I this week somebody posted something on Instagram, and it just resonated with me so much. And I was like, oh, that's really reassuring. If it was reassuring for me, I'm sure it'd be reassuring for somebody else. So I did want to talk about it. And it was basically like somebody talking about how if you feel unqualified to do something or be something or like just do anything in this lifetime, like lean into God, like have faith in God. Like if you have God in your heart and you're walking a path with God, like nothing is impossible, no matter how unqualified you are for whatever it is you want to achieve. And somebody posted a reel about that, and I was just like, oh my, and they, pulled out scripture and talked about how somebody in scripture was unqualified and God was like, no, like you got this. Like I pick you to do this job. And they're like, me? And he's like, yes, like you have me in your heart. Like I'm here. And I was like, okay, that's like so reassuring, because I do doubt myself a lot. And I do struggle at thinking I'm able to achieve like certain things because I don't think I'm smart enough, or I don't think I'm well spoken enough. One thing I did learn from the last podcast is that I really need to stop saying literally. And I say like way too much, and it's very annoying. And maybe I could stop saying that too, but it's hard. It's hard, guys. So where I was going with that is like, yeah, like I might think I'm not well spoken, or I don't have a college education, or I didn't make, the best grades in high school, or I don't have like some hidden talent. Like I'm not a good swimmer or a freaking, like, I don't even know, dancer. Like I can't dance. Like, I am very unqualified in my eyes. So hearing that was just so, it just, every time I hear something about scripture that resonates with me, I'm like, oh, like leaning into God and leaning into the Bible really is so comforting. And if you're just not feeling comfortable in life and out of place and lonely or unqualified, like, and you don't have a relationship with God, like that's fine. But before you feel all of those feelings, like try leaning onto God and seeing if he makes those feelings go away, or if you find purpose in yourself through having a relationship with God. Like I don't want to be the one to like push God onto people, but I do want to make people that feel like they don't have any other option in life, like they don't have a way out of the struggle that they're going through. I want to let them know like, hey, like if you haven't leaned into God yet, like try it before you just completely and totally give up and throw your hands in the air and say like, I'm done with this life. That's what I want to help with. So anyways, I pulled up some more examples in scripture where God qualifies the unqualified. Some people could be signing off and being like, what the fuck, Victoria? But here I go. If I pronounce things wrong, like please forgive me. But, okay. So Exodus 3:11-12. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And God said, I will be with you. So that's just God like reassuring him, like, it's okay. No matter like what you think of yourself, like I'm with you. So like, you're good. Like, as long as you keep me by your side, like, don't worry. Okay. Judges 6:15-16. Pardon me, my Lord, Gideon replied, but how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family. The Lord answered, I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites, leaving none alive. So like this guy, his army like sucks. They're the weakest. And he's like, there's no way. Hold on. I went to like kind of explanations too. Hold on. Okay. Gideon was a member of the weakest clan in the tribe of Manasseh, and he was the least in his family. When God called him to lead the Israelites against the Midianites, Gideon didn't feel qualified because of his low social status and lack of military experience. However, God promised to be with him and give him the victory. It's just like there's so many examples in scripture where like people that don't have the confidence in themselves, like as long as they had God next to them and in their hearts, like they didn't need it. Like God will prevail for you when you can't be there for yourself. And that is just means everything to me because I go through so much self-doubt. So yeah, you didn't know that Gossip Committee was going to turn into a Bible study. I'm sorry, but like, this is just what's on my mind, guys. Okay. All right. Okay. One more. I'll do one more. 1 Samuel 16:11-13. So he asked Jesse, are these all the sons you have? Jesse said, there is still the youngest. He is tending the sheep. Samuel said, send for him. We will not sit down until he arrives. So he sent for him and had brought him in. He was glowing with health and had a fine appearance and handsome features. Then the Lord said, rise and anoint him. This is the one. So the little explanation for that is, David was the youngest son of Jesse and was not considered a likely candidate to become the next king of Israel. Like he was not giving king energy. And his dad even was like, okay, well, here's my choices, or here's your choices of sons. These are my strongest sons. And they got king energy. But like my other son, he's the youngest. He's tending to the sheep. Like he's doing his thing over there. And God was like, bring him here. Like, I need to see him. David was the youngest son of Jesse and was not considered a likely candidate to become the next king of Israel. In fact, when the prophet Samuel came to Jesse's house to anoint the next king, Jesse didn't even consider David to be a candidate. However, God saw something in David that others didn't, and he chose him to be the next king. Bro, the next king. Like his own dad didn't have faith in him. And that's where like it resonates with me, because it's like sometimes I don't get support from like friends or like family members because like, I don't think that they see like me being able to overcome certain obstacles or be like this successful. It's so crazy that I think that, considering I've been successful before. But I had kids and postpartum anxiety happened. I don't know. But anyways, God saw something in him that others didn't. And if you think that you suck because you don't believe in yourself and you don't see anybody else believing in you, like, lean on God. He believes in you and he sees everything in you that you don't see in yourself. He sees in you what others don't, and he knows that you can prevail and you can do this, and you can have king energy, queen energy. Like, it's just so reassuring, and I loved it, and I loved the message, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And yeah, I'm going to end this podcast on that note. Like, I don't know how good this was, if I did a good job by myself. It's scary being in a room talking by yourself and having to come up with a whole podcast. But like, hopefully I did a good job and it didn't suck too bad. Next week, I'll be very excited to like bring the like fun, laughing energy back, and maybe we'll talk about sex because I didn't really talk about sex this time. So yeah, guys, I know there's some of you that listen and you actually do enjoy what I bring to the podcast, and I appreciate that. And thanks for listening. And if you got through the episode, you're amazing. I love you. I mean it. And I'll see you next week, hopefully with Madison. Bye.